This kid is pure magic. Meanwhile, Ronaldo somehow avoids a World Cup ban, and Real Madrid are closing in on a former academy gem turned Serie A superstar. This is DMAC Daily. The Bowley Bluecoat era has been defied by absurd spending levels and an obsession with hoarding the youngest talent from across the world. Some signings have proven to be successful, others have drastically under-delivered, but in the case of a certain Brazilian prodigy, the expectation was a little different from the jump. Estevao arrived, having already tormented Chelsea in the Club World Cup with a record-breaking resume back in Brazil. Was this 18-year-old ready for the biggest league in the world and the bright lights of the Champions League? From day one, I firmly believed he was a star in the making, but even as a Chelsea fan, I'll admit I've been a little shocked by how special this kid actually is, because from the moment he delivered that match winner against Liverpool, he has not slowed down. Every time he steps onto the pitch, he looks a more polished version of the player he was the week prior. In Europe, he first dazzled against Benfica, destroyed Ajax, scored on the road against Karabag, then smashed it for Brazil on the international break, and now, in the biggest test of his career, a genuine elite UCL rivalry, he stole the show. And it wasn't just the mesmerizing goal he scored, it was the entire performance. How many other 18-year-old wingers can deliver something like that? How many other 18-year-olds can essentially humble Lamine Yamal? Now, it's still so early in Estevao's career, but the guy's trajectory is looking crazy high. Although focusing on Estevao alone is somewhat doing a disservice to this Chelsea team, because they collectively annihilated Barca today. Bar one mistake early on, Maresca's men were in total control. The approach was calculated with the high press and pacey frontline. Caicedo, Enzo, Cucurella, James, all outstanding individually. 1 to 11 really, top shelf. Caicedo in particular, the guy can seemingly do it all. I can't wait for his next battle against Declan Rice just quietly, but staying on this match, and 3-0 in the end, was flattering to Barca. Chelsea had 4 disallowed goals after all, but it does beg the question, was this actually a masterclass from Chelsea or just a total Barcelona calamity? Because sure, they were missing Pedri, Varane should have scored early on, and Olmedo Araujo was up to his usual tricks, but this was one of the worst defensive displays I've ever seen from Barca. And I know that suicidal high line is nothing new here, but this felt like watching Ange Ball whilst down to 9 men. It was destined to fail spectacularly. Doesn't help that their captain loves to sabotage a Champions League tie. I'm hearing shouts of a double agent, which at this point kind of checks out. So all in all, a terrible day for Barcelona. Spanish football is low-key in the mud right now. Arsenal recently battered Atletico. A Liverpool side in a full-blown crisis dominated Real Madrid. And now today, you've got Bilbao dropping points to Slavia Prague, Dortmund demolishing Villarreal, and then this. It's not a great look for La Liga. Speaking of other UCL games, and we had some interesting results. 36-year-old Obama what? With a timeless display for Marseille as they came from behind to defeat Newcastle at the iconic Stade Velodrome. That first goal from Aubameyang was pure class. Bar that Chelsea mishap, he's genuinely been one of the most underrated strikers of the last decade or so. Over 500 career goal involvements featuring for some of Europe's biggest clubs. He's also got 16 GA in 16 appearances, having returned to Marseille this season off the back of a decent spell in the Middle East. Unk still got it in 2025. Concerning for Newcastle though, that's 4 away L's on the bounce. 1 win on the road all season for the Saudis. Speaking of Middle Eastern giants, Man City took an L at the Etihad. The old guard of Leverkusen, Grimaldo, and then Schick stunning the citizens. Pep thought he could rest his key personnel, and it completely backfired. Flecken with an unbelievable display in goal. 9 saves to preserve a clean sheet. Don't sleep on this Leverkusen team, by the way. 6 wins in their last 7 games. The only loss coming at the hands of Bayern Munich. Having inherited Ten Hag's mess, Hjulmand is doing a great job thus far. It was also a great day for the Italian sides in Europe. Napoli made relatively light work of underdog side Karabag. Scott McTominay, the king of both Scotland and Naples, once again the star of the show, whilst Juve dramatically took all 3 points over Arctic Minnows Bodo Glimt. Hardly a stellar performance from the Italian giants, but on a more positive note, heavily criticized striker Jonathan David would score the winner late on, a first in the UCL for the old lady. It was a good evening overall for Canadian strikers, with Promise David's lone goal stunning Galatasaray at home, as UCL newcomers Union Saint-Gilloise also took all 3 points, and Mourinho's Benfica record their first win of the UCL League phase over a helpless Ajax. Shifting gears to international football, and we got some massive news today. Cristiano Ronaldo will be free to start the 2026 World Cup after FIFA reduced what was originally a 3-match suspension. The Portugal captain infamously received a straight red during November's qualifier against the Republic of Troy Parrott for elbowing defender Dara O'Shea off the ball, an incident upgraded from a yellow to a red after VAR intervention. FIFA's disciplinary committee initially judged the offense severe enough to extend the suspension to 3 matches. However, 2 of those matches have now been suspended under an unprecedented 1-year probation period. Ronaldo has already served the first game of the ban, and the remaining 2 will now only be enforced if he commits a similar act of violent conduct within the next year. The reasoning FIFA pointed to is his flawless international disciplinary record, 226 caps without a previous red card. Now, technically, this is within legal rights. Under Article 27 of FIFA's disciplinary code, the Judicial Committee can, quote, fully or partially suspend the implementation of a disciplinary measure. So that's the official narrative, but let's call a spade a spade. This is FIFA enacting a loophole to ensure his participation from the jump. This move was motivated by finances. It's kind of like last year's Club World Cup qualification criteria, where FIFA found a workaround to guarantee Lionel Messi's Inter Miami qualified. And I know the CR7 fans can be a little crazy at times and will argue that this is completely different, that FIFA are showing Ronaldo leniency because of his track record for Portugal. But this probation is selective from FIFA. Armenia captain Tigran Barsegyan was also sent off for violent conduct in the very same qualifying campaign, also receiving the first red card of his international career. Yet he didn't get a probation deal or any signs of softened treatment. CR7 stands, be for real. This is arguably the most influential man on the planet. CR7 at a World Cup is a marketer's dream, a guaranteed money maker. Maybe that's why bro was so desperate to pull up to the White House. Did he beg Trump to make that call to Infantino? Jokes aside, I'm not trying to be a full-fledged hater of the guy. I'm still actually of the opinion that he should be leading the line for Portugal in 2026. He had a stinker at the Euros, but then fully redeemed himself in their Nations League triumph. But it doesn't change the reality that FIFA will bend any rules necessary to maximize profit to ensure CR7 can play on the biggest stage. Staying on international football, and FIFA's World Cup draw seedings have been announced, and hot take, I actually rate it. Starting with the tennis style approach, where the 4 highest ranked teams will be separated into different pathways so they cannot meet each other until the semi-final stage, provided they all top their groups. A system that is designed to maximize blockbusters at the very height of the tournament. The group stage draw will be based on 4 seeded pots containing the 3 host nations along with the highest ranked qualifiers. Pots 2, 3, and 4 are sorted by FIFA ranking. It's crazy to see the Socceroos in pot 2. Popper's Haram Ball is taking us to new heights apparently. What's the bet we then draw France, Norway, or maybe Italy? Either way, bring it on. Overall, there's a lot of intriguing group of death scenarios that could come to fruition. Obviously can't complete the draw yet as there's still 6 teams yet to qualify, 4 from European playoffs and a further 2 from the Intercontinental playoffs. Still praying for 149th ranked New Caledonia's qualification. That would be epic. Another important thing to note, confederation restrictions remain in place with the exception of Europe, which may have 2 representatives in a single group due to its high number of qualifiers. And now to close out the show, we got to quickly talk about Nico Paz. The ex-Madrid and now Serie A starboy at Como is poised to return to the Spanish capital thanks to a favorable 10 mil buyback clause, which is some bargain considering he's currently valued at 55 mil. No player has registered more goals and assists in the Serie A than the Argentine this season. So the plan is to sign him in January, but remain in Como for the remainder of this season, which makes sense, right? Primarily a number 10, it'd be a difficult ask for the Argentine competing alongside Bellingham, Gula, Diaz, and Mastantuono. But both parties are reportedly keen to make this happen, so Alonso must have a plan for Paz long term. Anyways, legends, that's all for today's DMAC Daily. I'll see you tomorrow.